It's true. I don't know what Sheep and Gas has been eating, but gonna have a change in diet. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. If you can't tell by my more animated demeanor, even more so than usual, we have something in store for you. Welcome to the nightmare. Welcome to Random's Thoughts. It's time for Fright Night. It is time. We are actually underway. In fact, we are well into round one. Now, full disclosure at the start, I am, of course, a content affiliate, and we are officially getting prizes from the Smoking Gun Interactive team, which is awesome. This is our third Fright Night event, but the first one where we're actually going to have prizes, and players are competing for some awesome swag. And there's some secrets in store that I'm going to be letting you know in just a few moments. But, alright, so we're zoning into crypto between our blue player Gamer24x7 and our orange player aTrend. This is a pretty incredible matchup. These are players that you constantly see at the top of the arena ladder, and I'm excited to see what they actually show in this particular game. Now, in this game, we see a Grimes come out on turn one. Kind of surprising, truthfully. And we get the Unicorn follow-up, which is something that shows up a lot on this map, but in this scenario, I could take or leave it. The Grimes opening is genius. It is really cool. So the question is, like, if you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, you could still get here with Snowball, but the Grimes opening is just splashy. I was talking about it before, but Grimes is something that's a terror when you first learn about it, but then quickly falls off because a lot of more experienced players do know. I'm not saying it never beats experienced players. Don't misinterpret, but it does ultimately result in, you know, players respecting the power level, essentially. Better players understand how to play around it, but we got a bank from our, I was going to say bolt players, but not bolt players, from our blue player, and it results in a Blast-O-Matic. Blast-O-Matic is great on this map because friggin' laser, its ability, goes pew pew pew, annihilates whatever is on here from your opponent on the centerpiece. It will also hit whatever's on the stem and then also connect with the heart. When I first started, I thought Stabby sucked, truly a different man. It's amazing what you learn. Experience is a great teacher. So we're getting some repositioning here, some more traps going down, and then a follow-up cat. Get a follow-up cat. The Stabby here is fine. The Stabby here is fine. And a Honey Bear. Honey Bear has the potential to do a lot of different things on this map. You can, of course, turn off panic points. You can turn off lava. You can turn off these traps. But notably, because of the range, you do have the opportunity to turn off the stim and possibly invade as a result. Because if anybody has played this map before, you have to know how the play pattern goes. It tends to devolve into trading one keys on the center point. Rarely does anybody advance far enough that anything meaningful happens, and it often just, you could almost figure out the game 20 turns before it ends, because you just trade these one keys, and then eventually it's like, okay, well, we have these 4 Phobies left. How does it work from there? And that's what it amounts to. The only variable, I guess, and it's not really a variable, is how much damage is done to the heart at any given time, but in this case, we should see a laser go down. It will one-shot the cat, push damage on the heart. The jar is appropriately safe. Obviously, aTrend, strong player, not going to get caught by that. But Gamer goes for the block here. It locks off the Honey Bear. I'm not a huge fan of this block because this block will... It helps our orange player to a degree because it solidifies the defensive posture of this panic point. However, this does prevent the Honey Bear from laying down puke on the traps as well as the stem here. So it does have value that it prevents the Honey Bear from doing something you don't really want it to do. Crushmore comes in, going to support the forces. We'll have to see, because with the Grimes, again, while Grimes is big and scary, or can be, while Grimes is big and scary, It may not be as big and scary as a foul. Now remember, level ones, but 1800 health, it pushes 700 base damage. Granted, Grimes is powered up here, but like, disease, baby. It can be pretty scary. Crushmore breaking the block, getting in position. Still a panic point advantage for our blue player. 4 keys, or excuse me, orange player. 4 keys remaining for our orange player, 3 for our blue. There's a few different things that could go down here. I'm curious which line the players are going to take. So we're seeing a ton... Shut up, Lippy. I'm commentating this game, not you, Lippy. Shut up. So we see a ton of traps going down. If this invade ever happens, I don't know if they're ever going to matter, because it's probably only going to happen because the honey bear vomited on everything, like, realistically. And there it is. Panic point down. So panic points are even, traps are deactivated, stim is deactivated, but we do in fact get the disease going down on Grimes. Grimes is dimensional, taking 600 damage at a clip. So that Grimes is going to have to go in because it's not going to do much else. Repositioning on the Blast-O-Matic also is interesting. It's going to force some odd positions from our orange player, who has 4 keys remaining, 0 for our blue player. Murder Wing was the final one. So the Grimes advances. Getting some damage going down onto the foul. Get a power up on Grimes, but again, Grimes is not long for this world. Now keep in mind, if you haven't seen Blast-O-Matic before, it has a ranged AoE attack, not just the laser. Get the snipe going down on the jar, and this might just be a battle of numbers, where there are just more Phobies on the side of our blue player than there are for our orange player at this stage. Yes, they are fairly tanky, but again, laser into AoE, we're looking at some heavily damaged Phobies. There will be losses taken on our blue player's side, but I don't know if they're going to be meaningful enough. There's still a few turns left, so, you know, anything could happen. And the final Phobie, the penultimate Phobie is a Thunder Rocks followed up by Electrocat. I mentioned it earlier, but Electrocat has been getting a lot of play. I think many people are neglecting Electrocat in general for regular games because it's like, it's not that good. I don't want to waste XP on leveling it up. But in this solely level 1 Phobies, because we have that, shout out to the devs for the tournament mode, this has helped a lot and has definitely raised the stock of Electrocat. Is it going to matter here? We'll see. So Panic Point advantage is now back in favor of our orange player. And remember how I was saying quantity of Phobies were going to go to our blue player? That's not the case. It's 5-1. 5-1. We get a laser hit, eliminates the cap, pushes damage on the heart. We're looking at 3,400 to 3,500. This is a really tight game. But Panic Point advantage remains with our orange player. And our blue player is slowly picking away at the forces. Got a sad face going on that. Well, now it's a happy face, but it was a sad face on the Blast-O-Matic, and I can kind of understand why. Get some repositioning here, but that's not going to end well for that Blast-O-Matic. I imagine double hits from Crushmore. You're going to get a hit with Thunder Rocks, and of course, you can realign things. Ooh, they're actually going after the Unicorn, which makes sense. Whittle away the forces. Obviously, you can get the invade here. Get a little puke action. That's actually turning off one of Orange's panic points. But it does disable these traps, which I have to imagine our orange players suspecting they are there. It might have been better to do it here, disable the lava, because then it would have actually splashed onto these traps. But we don't know, as the orange player, they don't know where the traps are. Thunder Rock standing next to a Blast-O-Matic does not end well for that Blast-O-Matic. And just like that, GG, well played. All right, so we're zoning into Home Sweet Home. DT and CATMADD are our players for this round 4 matchup. If you're interested in joining Fright Night, hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. Excuse me, in the video description. I tried to eat really quick and I guess it didn't agree with me. My bad. Look, we're trying to do a lot of stuff here in as short a time as possible. You gotta bear with me. It's been a long day already. So, DT going with the signature double turret opener. However, CATMADD did answer with their own turret, at least initially. We'll see what the answer is to the second turret. Truthfully, I think the biggest question is my voice going to hold out for the rest of this event? Because right now, I can actually feel the pain in my throat. It's actually starting, like I can feel the muscles straining. We'll see. Instead, we see a Kerbloom, which is no joke, like the 4th or 5th Kerbloom. We'll have to see how this goes. Currently playing a Blasto versus Blasto with DT. That sounds wild, player. That's absolutely wild. So, we end up with Stabby going down, or Stabby going down. Stabby laying down some damage on this K9, which we've been postulating is a hypothetical answer to turret characters. I'm not sold on it yet, but we'll see. We'll see. The cat is going to pay for the sins, excuse me, of the Stabby. Oh, man. This food is not agreeing with me. And a little extra damage. We're getting a somewhat aggressive opener from DT compared to what we typically see. So we get the elimination on the K9, but we don't see the Kerbloom going in. I'm not sure what this Kerbloom is doing. And we get a Moly Bully, which is a phobia that I've said on many occasions seems to be, I guess, underrepresented. It is not as respected as it probably should be. But the Moly Bully is now staring down double turrets that are in position, as well as a fairly formidable force outside of that. Now, let's not go wild. Of course, the Contortio is going to die almost trivially. But the question is, how does CATMADD answer the rest of this? They're playing it fairly patiently. 5 Phobies to 4, 4 keys to 3. Banks, we're talking about, of course. But DT goes in. Oh no, were you forgetting about this? This is bold, because yes, you'll get the Gravedigger. But I think they can clear this and then Kerbloom. I guess maybe it doesn't matter. The original setup, and that may be why DT was so hellbent on removing it, was to break this block and then send in the Kerbloom. So that removes the possibility of that play. But ultimately, we see a lot of violence happening, and at the end of it, our orange player is ahead. Murderwing and Bowmangles staring down Moly Bully, who's all up on Bowmangles, Cassowary, and Stabby. This is a lot of damage. Gotta retreat. But DT does have 7 keys banked, and Blastomatic, the DT signature, is in fact on the board. It is in fact on the board. The Thunder Rocks comes down. We've seen a couple Thunder Rocks this afternoon because of the Blastomatics. I mean, it makes sense. But we get the AoE attack going down. No line attack, just the base AoE, which is arguably good enough. But the Thunder Rocks is pulling double duty here. Not just the Blastomatic, but the Bowmangles, obviously. And in this case, that's a lot of damage going down on Bow. Bow is taking a beating. It's not going to die. But this necessitates what? A Clinico in order to keep it alive? What is the answer here? This repositioning the invade by the Moly Bully and the Cassowary means that a line attack is not feasible for the Blastomatic, but the AoE is still there. It's still the potential AoE. But instead, DT's going for this enormous line attack. Look at that line attack. You do take the damage from the splash there, still banking the 3 keys, which is interesting. I don't know about that one. Like, this Blastomatic might be dead. Oh no, not like this. You had 3 keys, so you could have Clinicoed. I wonder if DT ran out of time. Because that's obviously game. GG. Well played. Well played. Alright, we're back on Home Sweet Home. This time, it's Kratos versus Opulence. In the blue trunks is Kratos opening with a cassowary and cat. We'll see how this turns out, because this map has had some weird twists and turns over the day, and a variety of different people have been trying it. I've been making an effort to try and mix up the games based on players. I should have put more effort into maybe the maps. Let me know down in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, or come by the live stream, RTChompGG over on Twitch, or join the Discord. Of course, the links are in the description. Likes and subscribes always do help. But we have a answer of Cassowary and Henrietta, and then a canine from our orange player. This is a little weird. This is a little weird. And then a unicorn. So that chews up all of the remaining keys trying to fight this other stuff. We'll have to see how this works, because this is very unique, this set of openers. We do see some of these phobies over the course of the games, but in this particular order, it's kind of weird. And then we get a boom to add to the oddities. Piling on the oddities, there's a lot of stuff going on in this. So the cats trade, but this is probably a dead cassowary. No, because they just use the leap. There's no way for this cassowary to kill this one without exposing itself. So cassowary goes down. This does threaten the boom, connecting with things, and we have a Baba Yaga as the follow-up. This is looking nasty for our orange player. They're in a tough spot. They do get the takedown here, and you probably just kill the boom. Yep. So just like that, it suddenly looks a lot better, but we get the tickles. I love seeing tickles. It's one of the funniest phobies in the game. So we do get a trap going down, but will our orange player be able to pick out where the trap is to eat it with tickles? Look at that. You get the little spin on tickles. Love to see it. Love to see it. So for those who aren't familiar, Baba Yaga, while it has a ranged trap and AoE trap at that, it is in fact a melee phobie. So it is not going to be able to get on this tickles, or any other phobie for that matter, without exposing itself to retaliation. But in the meantime, we're getting supplementary forces of Bowmangles and the Jar, whereas Quagmire has bolstered the forces of our orange player, chewing up a significant portion of their keys, but let's face it, it's pretty good. Look at the attack on that. Some little corn action going down on Unicorn. Our orange player, with the knowledge, not sending in the Quagmire or anything to here, risking getting hit. It wouldn't make any sense to be here because you have a whole bunch of hits, like 6 hits between Bowmangles, the Murder Wing, and the Jar in order to clobber that spot, but it's now a 2-to-1 panic point advantage orange. So we get some repositioning here. Oh no, didn't even lay down a trap, unless they did, and we can't see it in the replay, and it's like here, because they would have had to put it in one of these other spots. I think it would have been worth trying to put a trap under you. The reason being is that even at worst, where there isn't a trap there to remove, it's worth checking, A, and B, then it's a trap for your opponent if they try to invade. Both traps exploded? Yes, they did, you're right. So they must have put it on the other one. They must have put it on the other one. You are correct. Unicorn took... yeah. Took an enormous amount of damage, because the trap on trap activates it. It doesn't just destroy it. And as mentioned before, AoE traps. No, it triggers it. Just like if you place an obstacle on a trap, it activates it. Smiley kind of smart here. It's interesting. It's interesting. We get Smiley and Sheep, and that is the remainder of the keys for both players as we see a Rocket Man and now an Invade leading to more traps. I don't know about this concave, because, like, this is please sheep me? I mean, yes, there's a trap, but, like... Ouchtown! And you're going to get the disease. And you're going to get the disease. We got to look at this again. Like, why did this happen? So this invade, no keys for our blue player. This already is questionable because it's like, okay, the sheep goes in, maybe you kill the sheep, but you have to immediately pull the Rocket Man out. Then you get the trap going down. This seems premeditated. That blue player wanted this to happen. They're like, they're going to go in with sheep, and I'm going to get it. But at what cost? At what cost are you going to get this sheep? Because, oh baby, get some jar hits going down to soften up the bow mangles, and then all of a sudden, the big fart just annihilates things. Yes, your bow mangles doesn't get poisoned, but it's a huge amount of damage. You get the Smiley, who now has diseased this. So as you can tell, disease and poison on the Baba Yaga. That thing's not long for the world. You kill the sheep. You might even kill the Smiley, but again, the Rocket Man needs to leave like yesterday. It's down to 1,300 health. I don't know that it dies here, but it could. Nah, it probably doesn't. Down goes Baba Yaga. Doesn't even get to cap this point, which, I mean, it wasn't going to. Elimination on the bow mangles. Some spare damage going down on Rocket Man, which is now, guess what? A dead Rocket Man. That big fart really clears a room. It's true. It's true. I don't know what sheep and gas has been eating, but gonna have to have a change in diet. So the jar trade here is fine, I guess. The bottom line is that that jar is still gonna die. And it's 2 Phobies to 2, but like I said, jar is not long for this world. It's just a matter of positioning. Jar goes down. The K9 blocks here, but it doesn't matter because it's a flyer. But it requires 2 hits for this Murder Wing to do it. There's still a lot of turns left, but I imagine this... Oh no, you are staying? I guess it's enough health because this only does 400. So you can't quite chase the Murder Wing down. Quagmire King of beating up cheaper stuff, it's true. Does a pretty good job of it. So you can't aggressively advance here, because if you do, you just die. Yeah, you have to retreat, which means that you're going to give up the panic point advantage, and I don't see any way that you ever reclaim it. It's the Snot Monster. Get a little Snot Monster action. So we're just watching the... Why 10 more turns? Well, there's no way for Orange to quickly end this, and if they make a positioning error, I guess, hypothetically, Blue can win. No, Orange needs to make, like, 8 positioning errors for something to matter, basically. Because, like, even here, you just can't. Like, there's no way, I think, for Kratos to win this game. It only would be if Opulence threw super hard. Like, super hard. Now, I don't even know if that's possible. I'm not sure that's even possible. So I guess we're just watching several turns. We're going to skip through. Alright, so Kratos is going for it. This is their big shot. Second guessing going up here, I kind of get it. But ultimately, a positioning error from the blue player, or they handed it over. They knew what was happening. GG, well played. That was a cool comeback. The sheep absolutely earned the MVP. GG. So we're going to zone into Biff's room between Drewid and Lufee. We got our Snot Monster avatar in the blue trunks, and we have our Starro the Destroyer avatar in the orange trunks. So let's see what we got. Imagine sort of computer phobia with like a virus, or a phone with a virus that acts like Poison Curse for mechanicals. I could see that being the case. It would be kind of weird. It'd be a little weird, but it would be cool. So we get a stabby opener out of Lufee. Lufee, you're denying your roots, we'll say. But We get a Gesundheit, which I think we saw... Who did we see doing this earlier? Was it Drewid? A lot of the games are starting to run together. We've done a lot of games, chat. And we get a follow-up stabby from Drewid, although admittedly slower. And we get the double turret. Fair, Lufee, fair. We get the double turret at a Lufee. We'll see what happens here. Get the advance from Drewid, who's also going double turret. Barzilla was a mistake, should have done Erratic or Klepto. Alright, well, we have a spoiler for later in the game. We'll see how this goes, chat. 2-to-1 panic point advantage blue, so our orange player is going to have to make something happen. But there's still plenty of time left in this game. Still have another 18 turns remaining. A jar fills out the forces. It'll help soften things up, namely the Bowmangles. Because you don't want to touch Stabby. It's Ouchtown, population U. Stabby's like a cactus. But we do see a dead cat. And we get a Murder Wing follow-up because you do have to reclaim this position. You do have to reclaim the spot. If you step the Stabby in, it is still likely to die. Everything's level 1, but even aside from that, you have an opposing Stabby and a Bowmangles, and now a Boom filling things out. So we get a bank from our orange player into 5. Only 3 keys available for our blue player, so we'll have to see what they do. So, I think the idea here is with an AWOL follow-up, A, they're banking. B, you're getting everything positioned in order to dive something. The big question is what? Because you are going to have a hard time until this connecting with more than 2 things on something. But this does allow the jar to get a free pot shot down on the Murder Wing, being body blocked for by Bowmangles and Quagmire. Pretty big bodyguards, if you ask me. But now we get a retreat now that the AWOL went in. This is that weird scenario that we talked about on a number of occasions, including today, where you reclaim with a 1 key. But then that means that they already have a 1 key on the board, so they're immediately going to reclaim it. It's a little weird. It's a tough scenario, but a bank to 8 for our blue player. I wonder what's coming since we had that spoiler. And 3 keys only for our orange player. But they have 5 Phobies, so they're going to be banking whether they like it or not. A nearly dead Bowmangles. This is dangerous. Because the Quagmire might die. You got triple turret plus an available Murder Wing. Well, double turret plus Gesundheit. I don't know if I count Gesundheit, but you don't even need the Murder Wing. It's just a dead Quagmire. And then that frees up the Murder Wing to snipe the jar. Oof. This position got real ugly. And then the Barzilla. Now, we had Drewid in chat. Shout out to Drewid, pointing out that they felt the Barzilla was a mistake. But we do get a cool boom hit that leads to a dead Bowmangles. Now, this is a... Okay, they're not going to go after the Stabby. I was going to say it's a slight error if you go after the Stabby because you could have finished it off with a boom. But instead, they elected to kill the Murder Wing, just soften up the Stabby. Now, the 6 keys, who out there is surprised that Lufee drops a Rocket Man on the board? The double hit here from Barzilla, I don't know about that. Unless you body block right now with a Boomer. Oh, no. This has got to be a frozen Barzilla, right? But it's... Alright, Stabby's down, but 4 Phobies remaining to 2 and 3 keys. Oh, wow. We do not, in fact, get the freeze. And a Muffin comes down. So the freeze doesn't go down on the Barzilla. It's instead just a whack onto the Gesundheit. And then K9 is the remainder of the forces for Lufee. The Muffin makes sense. It was not, in fact, to heal the Stabby, which has gotten beaten up, but instead to free up the poison from this Rocket Man. Clearly, Rocket Man's going to easily eliminate the Sargasson. And it's a 2-to-1 panic point orange. I don't know that the Barzilla was necessarily a mistake. But it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. All of a sudden, it's 2 Phobies to 3. Yes, one of those Phobies is Barzilla, but one of the 3 Phobies is, in fact, Rocket Man. This repositioning basically guarantees a frozen Barzilla, but we'll see. Ran out of keys? Yep. It is a heavy investment. Ooh, we're not going to see the freeze. We're instead going to see the takedown. This also makes sense. Still very healthy. Yes, the Barzilla can put a hurt on Rocket Man, but probably not before Rocket Man eliminates said Barzilla. Plus, it's triple panic points, 2,800 health. It's going to be difficult for our blue player in the next couple turns to be able to get out of this. Frozen Barzilla, there it is. There's a standings on there, Bozo. I'll post it in a second. As you'd imagine, just getting the heart damage going down. And we get the classic Lufee heart punching. It wouldn't be a Lufee game if you didn't see him going after the heart. GG, well played, both players. This was a pretty cool game. We got to see Barzilla on Biff's room. That's going to do it. As always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And Black Lives Matter.